Welcome back, and today, like I mentioned earlier, before we're going to talk about 3 years after the first revolution. Egypt now is witnessing 3 years after the first revolution, January 25th, a move that was later dubbed as the Arab Spring by many outside Egypt. Of course, it all started when a desperate street vendor set himself on fire, Mohammed Bouazizi, on oppression by also a state security officer, a woman who slapped him on the face, and then a number of revolts sparked all over Tunisia. That was in Tunisia, and then it moved on to Egypt, and there was a great uprisal and upheaval in Egypt that overthrew the dictatorship regime, or the dictator Hosni Mubarak with his regime and all the oppression that he exercised for 30 years over Egyptians. And then the course of events took its place, and of course every Egyptian who is watching us right now is aware of all the events that took place after January 25th, and Egyptians were stumbling back and forth towards their intense and precise will towards achieving democracy. It was very stumbling, it was very bumpy, the road was bumpy, it wasn't easy. Egypt had been through a lot during those 3 years. The most important highlight throughout those 3 years is another graceful popular revolution dubbed as June 30th that stunned the whole world and was even filmed by Google Earth. Everybody saw it. And today we, in about today, which is Saturday morning, we're going to be commemorating January 25th, and also that coincides with Police Day. 2 days ago, we were commemorating the approval of a new constitution and the birthday of late President Nasser, the symbol of nationalism. Too many events that have too many significances, and we're going to discuss all that with our prominent guest, Dr. Hassan Shiriba. He's a strategic analyst, and Dr. Walid El Naggar, the political analyst. Good evening, gentlemen. And today, the interim president, Adli Mansour, addressed a ceremony that was commemorating the Police Day, and he was quoted saying that this year's celebration marks the return of that bond, that strong bond, that ties the Egyptians, the citizens, with the state security officials. That was lacking. Why this year? Do you think something that happened last year that have made the state security officials regain their good reputation once again, and their popularity among the citizens in the streets, and the love and that the citizens is bearing for them right now?
Let me say one thing. The only thing which is have done this or made the effect on this is the real president who is ruling Egypt right now. Mm-hmm. This president showed the respect to every Egyptian. That's the basic. That's true. So when he showed this, all the people recognized that this is their president. It's not any president, and it's not like the previous one or the very previous one. So both previous presidents were not showing the loyalty to the people, but this president showed very loyalty to the people. And not only this, the harmony between the army, the harmony between the police department with the justice ministry, these three places, which is the what you call the turnkey positions for any country, have made like a very good harmony of work, understanding, assisting each other, just to lift up the country as smooth as they can. Although we did have lots of obstacles, and this was expected, and they know it, but they were very calm, and they know some people will get violent, but they will try to keep him quiet as much as they can do and afford for this. But the Egyptian mentality from the very beginning, from 7,000 years ago, it's a calm mentality. It's never been a violent mentality. So any violent action was brought it from outside of Egypt, not from inside of Egypt. So this is why
it is important.
It is important.
Like the Hamas militants who were important, and
it is
Iranians. And
you're wonderful. It is imported by them. It's not pure Egyptian who have gone and done this. They have brainwashed very well, and they have been bribed by money, by future positions or anything like this, and they lost their dignity.
And the most significant also thing, let me add to what you're saying, is that Egyptians are cultured by nature.
Yes.
There is a high rate of illiteracy, but still they are cultured by nature, which is surprising.
Yeah, you can see it. We were discussing before starting this show, and we were talking about, we did have 99% in election before, in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. Today I have 98%, but this is the true 98%.
And it's all real.
It is real.
It feels great.
Look, I went to different parts of Egypt. I have seen the rank and file. I have seen the very low. And I saw them why they are going to vote for the Constitution. And I asked them in person. He said, I'm looking for what I see from my president, and I'm looking from the army, what he's surviving, what he's doing for the sake of Egypt, and for the police department, who are really doing their maximum to control everything. And these people, they want one simple thing: peace, a very smooth life. And this is what they were looking for. From these answers, I recognized that the people will be eager to have a such candidate or a future candidate for Egypt to shelter them all in one, like our recent president.
Let me move to Dr. El Naggar and also touch on the same issue that Dr. Shariba is talking about. We did commemorate January 25th last year.
Yes.
We did commemorate it, but this year it has a different taste, and it has a different significance to all of us, because maybe it's the pinnacle of happiness. Maybe because it's the pinnacle of all achievements. It's an achievement of freedom from a fascist regime, achievement of a new constitution that really is focusing on human rights and things that have been neglected years and years, way before the Muslim Brotherhood rule over Egypt, and also the rejoice between the state security officials and the Egyptians. Today, while we are commemorating January 25th, we're also commemorating the Police Day. And see, it feels, it has a different taste today, because people do really appreciate and feel, because today also 5 state security officials were killed and assassinated while we are talking. Right. So people in every minute and every day are feeling the sacrifices that the police officials are doing for Egypt, just for the sake, like Dr. Shariba said, just for the sake of instability and peace and security of their country. Right. So how do you see that day? How do you read the scene that you're seeing today?
Actually, as you kindly said, and as Dr. Shriba also said, that the commemorating of the 25th of January this year is of a very special taste, because you already have passed the constitution with a real 98%, as Dr. Shriba pointed out. And definitely, I would say that the difference in taste this year is the feeling of people that they have a leader, which is Mr. Sisi. You know, this feeling makes people feel safe, and they make them also feel that they want to, they don't care if they sacrifice more and more, because there is a target in their life now. I mean, there's a target that all of us have one target, that we want Egypt to go ahead. We want Egypt to raise up, you know. So there is some kind of like a general feeling, a common general feeling that we want to go ahead. We don't want anything to stop us, and that's why people won't care to give more sacrifice and in order to take their part in fulfilling the target itself. And of course, as we see in all media, that the popularity of Mr. Sisi is increasing one day after another, and this means in one particular sense that he's the coming president and I would like to say the leader itself, because he was nominated by people. He was not elected. So there's a difference between nomination and election.
Big difference.
It is actually, and this is what we see now in the streets.